Okay, so when it comes to this whole entire Katt Williams and Steve Harvey, or should I say Steve Harvey and Katt Williams, it's very odd. It's very odd that Steve Harvey would wait this long to respond. Katt Williams started out 2024 with truth-telling in an explosive interview with Club Shay Shay. However, Steve Harvey stayed silent. At first, it appeared that he was trying to take the high road and just ignoring the comments that Katt Williams had said. While most other people was craving that attention, wanting that attention for Katt, Steve didn't say or do anything initially. In fact, Steve was on Club Shay Shay at one point in time too, but his interview didn't do nowhere near as many numbers or had any explosive revelations. Well, I can't even say that word today for some reason. But here's the thing. You're going to wait until August, almost September, to respond. And let me go ahead and play this response at Atlanta's Investor Fest. And before I do, what would prompt this at an Investors Fest? That's the thing I don't understand. I'm thinking you're going to talk about financial excellence, how you came up and everything else of that nature, not an old beef with Katt Williams and how you still got it in your hood. Let me show you.
Penny ass hater who is, and you'll never have a hater that's doing better than you. Always know that. Don't get off the wall to dress some penny ass boy who ain't got shit going for himself. Now you done stopped your climb up on the wall so you can come down here and talk to his little punk ass. Don't do that, man. I stay away from it. Now do I want to? Yes. Because I'm a human being and I'm hood. I used to be a fighter. And I still got hands. They slow, but if you get up on it real close, I can still knock your monkey ass out. I just don't have the quickness I have. But I still know how to turn my hip and shift that weight, and I'll knock your short ass out. I'll shoot your perm straight out your head.
Now, how are you going to call yourself hood when you're doing stuff like this out there? Just on a boat, I'm assuming his yacht, shooting golf balls in the middle of the ocean. Of course, they're biodegradable golf balls, but they're still golf balls in the ocean. What hood person you know does that? How many hood people you know actually been on a boat? That's the thing I don't like. Whenever you have entertainers, whether they're comedians, actors, rappers, they always want to hang on to these roots that they can nowhere near identify with anymore at all. Steve Harvey has been a wealthy black man for over 40 years now, I think at this point. He can't relate to anything hood. As you get older, you know a lot of your memories and experiences kind of go away and fade, and memories may tend to shift a little bit. I have a feeling Steve doesn't know what he's talking about unless he's similar to like Diddy. And the reason I say that, you remember how Diddy was saying how Empire stole his life, and a lot of people at the time didn't believe it. They thought Diddy was just the man who was dancing on the videos, who wasn't taken seriously, trying to get people to vote and everything else of that nature. And then the Cassie video came out, all these other allegations happened with Diddy, the money, the use, whatever words you want to call that. And we saw that P. Diddy was actually a monster in disguise. I'm kind of wondering about Steve Harvey, because nobody has anything to say about Steve Harvey. Here's one example right here.
I don't know about nothing about that.
Wrong one.
I don't even like Steve Harvey.
Oh, wait a minute.
I see you do Steve Harvey.
Hold on. Oh, shit now. I just heard somebody say they don't like Steve Harvey, boy. I'm going to tell you this right now, Willie D.
Can we just admit that Godfrey is just a very underrated talent? He should be a lot more higher in the rankings as far as comedians and talents that we give him credit for.
Your ass talking all that shit. You just jealous of Steve Harvey, but that's okay. I know what D stand for. I'm gonna kick that ass. That's what's gonna happen. Yeah. Top 5 answers on the board. What Steve Harvey fit to do to Willie D? Beat his ass. Number 1 answer. You got me fucked up, boy. Tell you that. Yeah.
That's good stuff, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. So why don't you like Steve Harvey?
It started in the 90s with him assaulting hip hop. he would make generalizations. And I know for a fact everybody wasn't cussing. Everybody wasn't talking about gangster stuff and bitches and hoes and all that.
Not at all.
Everybody wasn't doing that.
In the 90s, that's very true. Hip hop has definitely went on decline. There's very few conscious rappers or rappers who do positive, uplifting rap songs, beats anymore. It's all just, it's really went downhill a lot. But when it comes to Steve Harvey, I do remember him talking about how you could stand rappers and how you couldn't barely understand what they were saying or sagging pants, all this sort of thing. So yes, Steve Harvey was very hard on the black community in general when it came to rap and just in black people overall. It's almost like Steve Harvey is the type of man that's been paid to say certain things that white people cannot say that black people will accept. But since it's coming from Steve Harvey, a lot of black people accept the things that he says. If you really listen to the things he say, it does not benefit most black people at all. And if you just change the voice and put a dark, just black out the screen, and you heard the things he said, a lot of it sounded like it came from a white person. Now, Katt Williams is very well beloved, right? His deeds go unspoken. And that's the greatest thing about Katt Williams. He doesn't sit here and has to boast about who he is and what he does.
Same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had. Now Steve got a sitcom where he the principal and he wear a suit and then he gets this high top fade, making all black men think he got the best lineup in the business, and it's a man unit. Then you ask it, why you not a movie star? I didn't want to be a movie star. This the same Negro that hated on Bernie with this same thing. I didn't want to be a movie star. No, you couldn't be a movie star. There are 30,000 new scripts in Hollywood every year. Not one of them asks for a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good over KB and look like Mr. Potato Head. There ain't none. You would have to have range. I played a lot of characters, 60 movie roles. I'm not playing Katt Williams in there.
I don't know, Katt. We might not let you drink anymore the way I mean, we ain't even got.
I'm not fueled by alcohol. I've had a sip, less than you. The truth don't need motivation. I'm just saying I can't let these dudes lie. So this is like Steve Harvey telling people he used to be homeless. That's my story. That's not his story. Steve Harvey wasn't never homeless. When Mark Curry was touring with him 25 years ago, he was making $3,000 a show in cash and doing 5 shows a week. They just tell the story.
And speaking of which, if you ever watch Mark Curry speak about Steve Harvey, he has a strong distaste for that man. To the point where I honestly believe that Mark Curry had an opportunity, he'll be the one to try to throw some punches.
Thanks to my wife, I'm where I am. You said that about the first wife. You forget that? You told us it was her, then you went and married somebody else that think like a man.
And with that being said, Steve Harvey was the poster boy for trying to give out relationship advice. Even though he was married 3 times, third time was a charmer apparently, to a much younger, more attractive woman. Now, of course, money is going to equal more opportunity when it comes to women. However, the woman he chose has a very colorful history when it comes to the man that she chooses to be with, when it comes to them doing activities in the streets. Activity in the streets they're knowing the boss of. So she has dated multiple men like that. Well, let me rephrase that. She's married to men like that. Both of her, two of her kids are married, had the same father, and one has a different, but both fathers were kingpins in their fields. And somehow her hands are clean, and now she's with Steve Harvey. Does that make any sense? I always say you're as good as your partner. So if your partner is doing something that may be illegal, immoral, just outright despicable, and you're okay with it, that says the exact same thing about you and your moral compass. So again, I don't see how everybody's looking at Steve Harvey and being like, oh yeah, this is the man, this is the truth. It's kind of like everybody's had that over infatuation with Gypsy Rose for the longest time. and how she did a horrible act or responsible for a horrible act. But yet they made her a celebrity and have a lot of support now, or she has a lot of support now. It's a very rich woman, and she's only known for disposing of her mother. So if you're with a woman who was with two kingpins, and again, kingpins, so they probably have some bodies on them. More than likely they have some bodies on them. If not directly, indirectly with the products they were selling. How in the world can you act like a moral, righteous man and dictate anything to anybody? But let's continue about this Katt Williams and the praise. Let's go to Jaguar Wright.
All right, John. Well, let's take it there. Then I have to ask you, Katt Williams. Like the way she eats. He recently pulled a Jaguar Wright and was just doing a lot of truth telling.
Want to know what's interesting?
Go ahead.
It's Katt Williams that taught me how to be Jaguar Wright.
Oh wow. Okay.
That's deep.
What was it about him that you kind of say, ooh?
10-10. He was my 30th birthday present. Almost 17 years ago. I'll never forget when he walked into the club.
And this is the thing about Katt Williams. You rarely hear any bad things said about Katt Williams. Now, you have Steve Harvey sitting here talking about how Katt has nothing going on and all this other kind of stuff. But in my opinion, Katt Williams is a lot more successful than Steve Harvey, because Katt Williams, even though he doesn't live in the community, he has to turn his back on the community, and he does acts of good deeds without being asked for. And I'll give another example after this. And every single person's life that he has touched has benefited from it in one way, shape, or form. They either got more knowledge, more money. They've always been more successful, and that's a large part of Katt, and he doesn't take any credit for it. He doesn't sit here and say, hey, look, this is what I did. He just does it in the quiet, and now that things are coming out, you have a lot more people more supportive of Katt Williams than you do of a Steve Harvey. It's kind of like, if you want to think about it, Katt Williams is more of that a good Samaritan you never hear about, and Steve Harvey is more the devil that you know. That he has to show what he has, show his wealth, show his good deeds, because it's not genuine, but it helps him in the long run gain more money and power.
And I was sitting at my table. It's my birthday party, and Special Ed brought him.
Shout out Special.
And me and Ed were celebrating our birthdays that year for the Taurus Affair that we used to do in Miami Beach every year. And Katt was playing the amphitheater, and he wanted to meet me, and he came to my party. Gave me about 20 grand in cash and said, consider it a down payment.
And can we just admit that Jaguar Wright wasn't a bad looking woman? People clown her now, but back in the day, I can understand.
On your time. And Moni Love was there. Cousin Sonny was there. Imrel was outside smoking a blunt, so she missed the infamous picture with all of us together with Katt. And me and him sitting next to each other, two hats on, two cats in the hat.
Yeah.
And he taught me so much in 9 months. Walking away was hard, but it was when the Illuminati first started coming after him.
When she said walking away was hard, you can still hear the love in her voice for Katt Williams. And that's a mark of a good person. You don't always got to work out, but the person you're not with anymore, they can sit here and be like, you know what? Walking away was hard. You know that person was good to you. Sometimes people just aren't meant to be together.
And I'll never forget the day when they breached the house. And I left. You know, back in that moment, Katt was still wearing Kevlar to bed. To bed. I would get in bed with him at night and he would have Kevlar on.
Wow.
In bed.
Kevlar in bed. And you would like to think somebody like that is paranoid, but we have seen time and time and again Katt Williams have been attacked seemingly a lot of times for no reason and found innocent almost every single time. But yet, Even though he has been kicked and punched and knocked down multiple times, he always keeps getting up. He always keeps being that stand-up man. And nobody is perfect by any means. There are reports of Katt Williams doing stuff that are not agreeable, right? There are stuff like that for anybody. But overall, if you measure the deeds of Katt Williams, good deeds to his bad, you hear much more about his good deeds compared to his bad. Unlike Steve Harvey, you hear about Steve Harvey being a hater. He doesn't like people. He's just mean and ugly, jealous, all this other kind of stuff. He's with Kingpin's wife and all this other kind of stuff. He ignores his biological children. It just goes on and on when it comes to Steve Harvey compared to Katt Williams. He loves kids. He adopts kids and takes care of them. I actually saw I forgot who the man was. He was saying that Katt Williams didn't mention him in the Club Shay Shay interview, and he wanted to know, was he jealous? And he was like, well, no, I don't have to, because Katt Williams is one of my best friends. He was at my wedding. Because of him, I have money in my pocket. I'm rich. I could retire my wife. He gave my kids $10,000 each. I forgot what the man's name was. It'll come back to me later when I'm done with this live, most likely. But Katt Williams has a history of being a stand-up man. And that's what happens when life humbles you and you listen and you get blessed and you keep paying it forward. And we're going to leave this last one with Boosie.
I don't know about nothing about that. I know he a real nigga to me. Like I say, bro, I came home, I ain't had nothing to man. Invited me to his concert. Had me front row seat. When I was leaving, gave me $15,000. That's real. Everybody else was screaming my name, all kind of celebrity. Ain't even give me a speak. Ain't even speak to me when I came home. That man gave me $15,000. I ain't even know him, bro. That's all I can say. 9 minute celebrities was hollering free boosts. I saw him, they ain't even acknowledge me. They gave me $15,000. Doing that. He did that from the heart, man. He know what I had been through, bro. The man knew what I had been through, bro. I'll never forget that. When I see him, I'm definitely gonna bless him, bro. And I keep 15, 20 in my pocket at all times.
Kind of wish you didn't say he keeps 15 and 20 in his pocket at all time, but that's another great thing there. He gives without asking. He helps without being asked. He just helps. He just does what's needed because he listens to his higher calling. Now, the thing about Boosie is, I still remember when I saw an interview of his, and it wasn't with Vlad, where he was talking about his jail experience and the very moment he knew jail was not for him, he needed to get out of jail. I'm not going to go into this kind of graphic, but he saw some stuff that made him be like, man, this ain't, I shouldn't curse. This isn't for me. But anyways, I'm done. I just want to give my opinion on this matter that the higher that Katt Williams goes, it bothers Steve Harvey to his core. Even though he does not have a TV show that really nobody really watches. I don't know if it's still on. Katt Williams does his specials, he does his tours. He's well liked in the community. He's accepted pretty much by damn near everyone. You'll be hard pressed to find a person that generally just doesn't like Katt. Yeah, they can comment on some of his flaws here and there, but overall, as a man, as a person with integrity, he does what's needed to be done. He doesn't take what isn't his, and he pays it forward. That's a person that's worth a lot more respect than Steve Harvey, in my opinion. And that's a picture of success that most people should strive for instead of Steve Harvey, because Steve Harvey, let's be real here, he's not his own man. He can't do or say anything without permission from the people that pay him. And that kind of reminds me, Steve Harvey is a pretty manipulative person too, because I still remember he was trying to say that Umar Johnson said that he got paid $10,000. He says that on his radio show. He keeps painting that narrative out there. But when I listened to that interview, I should have got that clip where all Umar Johnson said at that particular time that the Harris campaign offered him $10,000 and he knew Steve Harvey and other people got paid. Now, this is because you may not have gotten paid a direct amount, $10,000, $50,000, $100,000, whatever, doesn't mean that you're not going to directly benefit from the Harris campaign in other ways that we may not be aware of. So that's it for now. Thank you guys for watching. Comment and subscribe, and I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you very much.